really, what are the great tropes from the pulp fiction genre? What are the tropes that you feel are defining, the tropes that you love to see, that you really enjoy? Powder, why don't you kick us off?
I don't know if this precisely counts as sort of what you're talking about, but the twist, like just the idea of the twist and the twist ending is so central to pulp storytelling. I love a story with a twist. I love a story with multiple twists. Something unexpected. Yeah, you've given me like a specific trope thing. I'm like, I don't know, but like twists, definitely.
Yeah.
Like the Lester Dent method, since we're talking about pulp and pulp writers and famous pulp writers. If you are a writer out there and you want to try your hand at pulp, there's this thing called the Lester Dent method that you can look up, and it is how to write a 6,000 word pulp story. And he breaks it down in 4 1,500 word chunks. He tells you exactly what to include, when, where, why, and how. And of course, at the end of each 1,500 word chunk, there is a twist. It is foundational to the genre, and I love it.
Amazing. I think I'm going to gazump Chris and throw in, for me, the foundational one. Everything over the top. Everything must be dialed up all the way. Forget 11, 20. Everything is so over the top. Heroes, villains, actions, drama, scenography. Everything is like so melodramatic in, for me, one of the most enjoyable ways possible in general. For me, that's one of the great tropes of pulp. Like, you are never in doubt what somebody thinks or feels. You are never in doubt where you are or what kind of fun you are having. That is delivered to you in a sort of high octane, super concentrated form right at the beginning. You're on the sleigh ride. You go all the way through all of the fun, all of the like genre and setting, pow, 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 all the way through. So I think for me, that is one of the most like defining parts of the genre, that sensationalist, that like super injection, I think, for me. How about you, Chris? Do you have favorite tropes?
I'm going to be greedy and have two. I think, firstly, I assume this is like somewhere on TV tropes, but I don't know what it's actually called. But like the hero who's holding himself together through pure willpower. You get it in fantasy and science fiction, you get it in detective fiction. They've been beaten down, they're being mind controlled by a monster from beyond the dark dimensions, they're crawling up a mountain to drop a ring and they should be dead. They're battered, they're bruised, they should be giving up, and they're still, just through pure force of obstinacy, they keep going. And there is a line in the classic noir film, The Big Sleep, which epitomizes this for me, where towards the end, like one of the hero's been like captured. I think he's like tied up, about to be killed, you know. And the femme fatale goes, "Why did you have to go on?" And he says, "Too many people told me to stop." And it's just so ridiculous. But it's like, yes, no, you cannot stop me. I am the protagonist.
I am stubborn and I have plot armor. Yeah, I mean that kind of like the roll a will check. It's such a, for me, that's like iconic of Daredevil, and of course it's iconic of so many of like the superhero, but it's iconic of so many of these other characters as well, where that, as you say, there's literally no reason they should be surviving at this point. They've been blown up 7 times and perforated by uranium, and still they go on through sheer will. And honestly, I kind of love that. I think you're right. I think that's a really wonderful trope to have.
They could do it all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you guys have another one? I could do this all day.
I think the other one I went to immediately was like the Eldritch Horror. And I have this distinct recollection of reading, I think the book's called Thomas by Robin Jarvis, which is like kids' fantasy where like all the protagonists are anthropomorphic animals. But basically, over the course of this children's novel, and it is a children's novel, it emerges that the thing that's being protected at all costs is like the egg, the shattered egg of some kind of ancient alien monster from another dimension that must be protected at all costs. Otherwise, they will reassemble the egg and they will call down the monster and a demon god will be brought. And I just remember being like, 13 and reading this and just being like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Amazing. And I mean, that goes back to Trip's point about twists before, right? Like, there should be a twist. The twist should be wild. I think like
more is more.
Yeah, exactly. More is more. Maximalism, absolutely. I think for me the covers as well, and that's the other thing I love about the covers is everything is so brightly colored, and I think that's very true in the writing as well. Like everything is vivid Technicolor, you know.
Yeah, sorry, just jump on in with another thing that I absolutely love about Pulp Fiction and the Pulp era is, granted, it began before we had the huge commodification of genres that we have today, but Pulp Fiction's willingness to just ignore genre boundaries, to transgress countries of ideas and like take different jigsaw puzzle pieces and just mash them together into one glorious chaotic whole. Like, yes, like science fantasy, it's my happy place. Like that. Like just the mixing and the sheer inventiveness that you get from that.
Yeah, that genre blend, it's really enjoyable to see. And you know, they didn't see this as boundaries, they saw it as opportunities, which is really cool.